Hi, I'm Rich Fink from the Western Loudon Art and Studio Tour, and I am lucky enough to be interviewing Barbara Wilson, one of our talented artists from WLAST. How are you, Barbara? How are you doing today?
I'm great, Rich. It's so nice to see you and so nice of you to conduct these interviews.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. So let's get started. So tell me about your artistic journey.
Well, I, like many other artists, was greatly influenced by my family.
Mm,
My grandmother was a painter. Another grandmother owned a flower business. My mother was a dancer. So my heritage, my family upbringing was full of nature loving, artistic people. I actually spent a deal of time in dance until I was in high school. And
hmm
then I went into theater, and the theater was what took took hold. And I stayed there for about the next 25 or 30 years as a teacher.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Wow, that's great. So when
yes.
did you start moving over from theatrical to more of the standard artist type of media, like painting and the sculpturing you've done, that type of thing?
Sure. I retired rather early from uh, public school teaching. It's quite difficult when you're doing sets and costumes and everything, lighting yourself, although I did enjoy it. But I'd always wanted to try working with clay. And of
Mm,
course, theater, as you know, we make properties and all kinds of quote unquote stuff
sure.
for the theater. And so I decided to try a class in clay, and I went to a throwing class, and the clay was on the ceiling and the walls. And then
No, really?
I decided this is not for me. I'll try a hand building class. And I made a chicken, and that was it. I was passionately involved with hand building from then on.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, that's just great. So, what inspires you to do the artwork you're doing now?
I'll have to say, Rich, that the classes that I started in, generally around here where we are, Leesburg, Virginia, it was difficult. I went to several surrounding workshops and took classes, and I got a little bit frustrated because being a theater person, I wanted something that was a little bit more of a challenge using my theater skills.
Oh,
And one day searching on the internet, I found a picture of a monkey, a clay monkey, and he was dressed in a purple suit with a green hat. And I said to myself, I want to study with that teacher, whoever made that. I hope she's local. And it was Catherine Avila at the Art League in Alexandria. And so I have studied with her for about 6 or 7 years now.
oh, wow. So, and it's really taken you pretty far along, right?
She has. She's very challenging. She encourages her class members to take other workshops. I went to Penland in School of Arts and Crafts in North Carolina. That was a fabulous experience. And most of that extra study I do uh, is about the human form
Uh-huh.
and uh, building a profile and working with the human form in some way or another. That's very fascinating to me.
Okay. So, do you most of what you do in terms of sculpture and pottery and stuff, is it all about the human form by and large, or do you do other things with it as well?
I do other things. I love to experiment. I do the sculpture, but the human form, but I also love to do animals. Animals appear in my functional work. I like to do functional platters that have a nature aspect or even a human aspect. And then I do enjoy doing mixed media, where I take found objects and add sculpture or figures to the mixed media to tell a story. It all comes from theater, you know?
Right. Telling stories. Telling stories.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, this is very interesting that so it's been although you've had this creative streak both through your family and through yourself in different types of art, because you know theater obviously is art too. Moving from theater into this and finding a good teacher really has changed your life in some way.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. It's an entirely, you know, it's a different journey, but it's not a different journey,
Hmm.
because I found that working with clay, um, and when I particularly made the move to doing the face, the body, which I started with Catherine at the Art League, then my dance and theater background really kicked in, because I was so interested in the form. I had seen so many faces on stage in the theater and facial expression. Facial expression. So when I started with Catherine doing heads, just call them heads, then I wanted not only to do a head, but I wanted the head to have life. I wanted to have expression, a smile. So that carried me a little bit further. And the more I became involved with that, then I really began to go in the zone. I'm amazed at how I can concentrate on an eye or a nose, and I can sit there for an hour or more and work on that nose. Um, and with other things, I have no patience at all. It's 30 seconds and I'm done.
Well, I guess that's a big change then, right?
It's a huge change. But then when I started adding clothes, you know, to the figure, then it was even more fun. And then Catherine has a very not only realistic approach to sculpture, but also very whimsical, as I told you in the beginning,
Yes.
the monkey in the suit. And so that's when I began to do even more interesting faces and adding my own kind of whimsical cartoon technique.
Yeah, I have noticed that. And so why don't we, no, really, why don't we move over to those three images so we can talk more about that? Is that okay?
That's excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Just give me a second. Oh, there we are. Okay. All right, here we are. And you know, I've had a couple of other artists ask me, why did you pick these three different images? Well,
Mhm.
it's because they're all very different. So when in your journey, this head, if you if you will, when did you do this? It's very detailed.
The first one, as I'm looking at it on the left, I actually completed her last year. And
Hmm.
it's kind of funny sometimes, and she has what we call a cold finish. She isn't fired twice, she's fired once. And then I used acrylic paints to finish her. She did win first place in the sculpture category at the Waterford Festival last year.
That's
She
great.
also is, to me, has an old-fashioned characteristic that I just liked. And at the time, I was experimenting with some techniques with dipping cloth in her wet clay porcelain slip, which is what her collar is. I also enjoy doing functional work for a change and some variety. And so that's what you have here in the center is a platter in the shape of
Yeah, shape of a wabbit.
a wabbit.
A wabbit.
And honestly, I get my ideas sometimes from a coloring book, a
Oh,
children's
really?
coloring book. Definitely. And so I enjoy the variety of going to something more simple like a platter or candy dish occasionally. On the other side, the couple I did as a wedding gift to a friend of mine. And she was engaged, and I asked her to send me a picture um, uh, of she and her fiance, and I decided to make it a little fun.
Right.
And
It has your whimsical streak there.
and that's my whimsical
Yeah.
touch. So I've done a few more of those that have been popular. Ladies in bikinis and on sailboats and things of that nature.
So the wedding couple is you added a costume, like a
I did
costume,
it.
right? Yes.
I did. I added a costume, and the picture that my friend sent me, they were wearing sunglasses.
Oh,
And
yes.
so that's where I got the idea to do the sunglasses. And then I thought I'll just put them in I decided to add the wedding dress and tuxedo.
The faces. I mean, this is really the one all the way on the left is really excellent, but it is totally different from the one all the way on the right.
Right.
So do you do a lot of each of these type of things or what?
It depends on where I'm showing,
Uh-huh.
uh, actually, because the more realistic sculptures are uh, seem to be more appropriate for certain gallery exhibits, for
Right.
example.
Yeah.
Um, and the platters, if you're local in Leesburg, I show a lot of my functional small pieces, whimsical at King Street Coffee. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have a great relationship with the owner there,
Uh-huh.
and now that we can't go inside, I'm decorating the porch.
Oh,
And so I have a lot of whimsical fish and birds hanging on the porch, and people love them. I think in these very, very serious times, Rich, that we are looking for relief, comic relief.
everybody does need a laugh, and especially now. Especially.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm teaming up with a group who has been accepted to the tour as well at Goose Island Art Barn. And as soon as that's available to open up, it's in Hillsboro. I'll have
Yes.
all of my work there,
Okay.
and we'll look forward to meeting an audience.
Right. Right. Well, you're a thespian. You need an audience.
Yes.
Yes. Right. Yes.
Well,
It's
yes, but it's kind of interesting the how visual artists approach the same or have the same need to show their work and
yeah.
have
Oh, definitely.
feedback about their work.
Oh, definitely.
It's
Definitely.
very important.
Yeah. It is very important. Because it validates you. You know, it
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 does. And artists want to know, for instance, if you buy a piece, why did you buy that piece? What speaks to you?
right, right. What speaks to you? Exactly, exactly. So,
Because as we've often said, artists get caught up in what sells, what sells. Well, I couldn't tell you that there is any particular kind of work that I do that sells more than any other.
Uh-huh.
It just depends. It depends on the person and the piece. If it either speaks to them in some way or does not. And sometimes it's, as you say, it's meeting the artists themselves.
Absolutely.
That's happened to me, and I've gone to a workshop and I say, I'm not going to buy anything at this workshop. I'm not going to buy any of her work. I'm just going to be here to learn. And by the end of the workshop, I buy something because I want to hold on to that moment, and
Yeah.
that it represents that moment for me. So I think
Yes.
it's very important. And as I said, I'm very grateful for the tour going the extra mile and doing these interviews.
We are all focused on trying to bring the tour as close as we can. And I firmly believe that these type of interviews are as close to the experience for the artist as well as the art lover. I'm gonna move us back to where it's just you and me. How's that sound?
Sure,
Okay.
that's great.
All right. What I would like you to do is, I'm sure there's many people that would love to see your art and your whimsical stuff and all that great stuff. Um, so if you can give me your connections on online or social media, however you want to say it, that would be great. Because I think not only would they like to see more of your art, I think they'd like to buy your art too. So if you can give me that list, that would be fabulous.
That's very kind of you, Rich. Of course, I have a website. That address is wilsonbarbara.wixsite.com/BWART.
Okay.
BW Art.
Okay.
On Instagram, I do quite a bit of posting on Instagram. I have to say, probably too much time on Instagram because I'm such a visual person and I love to support. A lot of our local artists are on Instagram, but my Instagram handle is hashtag B as in Barbara, J Wilson, #1. And then on Facebook, I'm Barbara Jones Wilson. I have all of my information, all of my photos. You can send me a message on Facebook, message me on Instagram, and I check my messages and emails quite often.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Well, Barbara, it's been wonderful chatting with you. I hope you had a good time because I certainly did. It's always good to see you. And
It's good to see you too, Rich. We have, you're in theater, I'm in theater, so at least I feel like we have a common understanding of art.
I believe you're right about that. So from here on out, by all means, stay safe and healthy, and we'll get all through this, and then there'll be time for another tour. You
Right.
have a wonderful day.
And you too, Rich. And
Okay.
to the people who are out there watching, thank you so much for tuning in.
We all need the audience. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.